Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. This is Brian May. I'm the Vice President of Business Development with Arcoro. Thank you for joining us this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are, for our presentation with our partners at Payroll4Construction. We're seeing lots of people filing in. We're going to give everyone a couple more minutes, and then I'll jump back on here and we'll do some housekeeping before we start with the presentation. So thank you again. Hang tight. We will come back to you here shortly. Hi, it's Brian again. Hang in there. We're allowing others to file in. We'll begin the webinar with our partners at Payroll4Construction in just another minute. Thank you. All right. So again, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian May. I'm the Vice President of Business Development here with Arcoro, and I'm excited to introduce our partners at Payroll4Construction. Now, before we get started, just a couple housekeeping notes. You'll see that everyone is muted for today's session. Feel free to go ahead and put your questions into the questions section of the webinar. We'll hold those questions till the end, and then I'll help facilitate those as we get going. Now, today's partner, Payroll4Construction, joining me today is Alex. Alex, next slide, please. So I'll let Alex introduce himself and we'll continue the presentation. Alex?
Thank you, Brian. Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us here today. My name is Alex Gray. I'm one of the regional sales managers here at Payroll4Construction.com. A little bit later in the presentation today, give you guys a nice high-level overview of what our service can offer, and Brian will also touch on how we integrate directly with ExactTime into the Payroll4Construction database. So again, want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us here today. Also want to thank Brian May for having us on here as well, and for joining us for this presentation.
Thanks, Alex. And everyone, I'm a 23-year veteran to the construction HR space. I've been with Arcoro for 23 years. As you know, ExactTime is an Arcoro product. So what I've been doing for the better portion of my adult career is helping organizations in simplifying and overcoming complex HR issues. Next slide, Alex. The partnership that we built here between ExactTime and Payroll4Construction is really bringing together payroll and workforce management, HR functionality to help our customers, our joint customers, in solving key business challenges. Now, this integration with ExactTime and Payroll4Construction, it's simple. Next slide, please. Using account links and sync links, we are able to go into Payroll4Construction and pull your people, projects, and cost codes out of Payroll4Construction so that you're able to track time within ExactTime. And then as soon as time is approved on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, you're able to export that time file and it's easily consumed with Payroll4Construction. So they can help you in paying your people and getting closer to the cost code or the job costing data that you're looking for. Now I'm getting into Alex's lane. So at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and ask Alex to come back on, and he's gonna walk us through this Payroll4Construction webinar. So thanks again, Alex.
Thank you, Brian. Hi again, everyone. So we'll jump right into it and we'll go into a nice high-level overview of what Payroll for Construction offers. So on the first slide here, meet Payroll4Construction.com. So what are we? We are an online payroll service provider that's just for the construction. We are only working with construction clients. So unlike some other payroll service providers you'll see out there, like your ADP, like Paychecks, where they are working with clients that are in the construction industry, and also those that are working in a number of different trades, work, different types of businesses all around the globe. Whereas Payroll for Construction, we are only dealing with construction clients and contractors. So we're going to speak your language. You're going to see a number of items around our database that are going to have the language that contractors are familiar with, where we're not going to be the ones that you can open a flower shop with our service. We are only dealing with the construction clients. As that full service payroll provider, we are processing payroll in all 50 states. So those that are working in multiple states, in one state, working in the continental US, we would be able to process your payroll in any of the 50 states. Little history on Payroll4Construction.com, and what makes us different is we are powered by a company known as Foundation Software with over 35 years of experience in the construction industry. Back in 1984, Foundation Software started a full ERP accounting software that again is only built for the construction industry. Then back in 2008, we realized that clients don't need the full power of the accounting software, but could benefit from the payroll module, parts of the job costing, parts of the general ledger. So in 2008, what we did is we started Payroll4Construction.com, where we pulled out certain portions of that full construction ERP accounting software and created what is known today as Payroll for Construction. What our service provides you. So with us being that full service payroll provider, we are going to be able to print your checks, complete the direct deposits for your employees. We're going to pay those employees. We are going to handle your taxes for you. So we will file those on your behalf. And we're going to automate reports like job costing reports, those working prevailing wage jobs. We have automatic certified payroll reports, electronic and print versions with over 60 different formats that are generated automatically in our system based on your payroll run for those jobs. Also offer some other reporting such as EEO, minority compliance reporting, can all be done within our system. So there's no jumping outside of your database, going through a third party, having them do your certifieds, having them generate those minority compliance reporting forms. This will all be done inside Payroll for Construction. So what we do. Like I had mentioned earlier, we are only working in the construction industry, so we are going to have a construction-specific payroll. Those contractors that are working across multiple states, those that are working in multiple localities, like our clients that we see in Ohio and Kentucky, where you could travel 5 minutes into a different city, and there's going to be different local tax rates that you need to track for those different employees that are working across multiple localities, or for those working across multiple states. We are going to be able to set up tax tables behind the scenes and track what is actually going on for your work for those working across multiple states, multiple localities. After the initial setup, the system's going to automatically track them behind the scenes based on how we had set up. We need those tax rates to be calculated. We're also going to be able to automate your pay rates for those working prevailing wage jobs. Within our system, we are able to set up a table behind the scenes that says, hey, based on my government contract, my guy's doing carpentry work for me, he's doing iron work for me. We need to pay him above scale per that government contract. So within our system, we are able to set up that table for the job behind the scenes. And as we are coding time to that job, bringing in the time from exact time into Payroll for Construction, it's going to be able to look at, hey, this guy was working this trade on this prevailing wage job for this day. Then the system will automatically pull in that above scale pay rate based on how we had set up that table behind the scenes. So no more going through and manually making sure that your guys' pay rates are correct per what trade they were doing, what they were actually doing on the job for us. The system's going to track this by default for us. Going hand in hand with those automated pay rates for the prevailing wage, we are also able to automate the fringe calculations for those that are working with union work that have deductions and fringes for the union, or if they're working on prevailing wage job where you have to have that prevailing wage fringe for those guys. We are able to set up how we need those fringes to be tracked, whether we're sending those off to some fringe benefit group, some supplemental plan, or we need to give those to the employee directly into his paycheck. We are able to set up those tables behind the scenes for that job and have the system automatically track those fringes for us. What we are also able to do, you'll see on the screen here, is this reduction factor or fringe credit. So those that are already providing their employees benefits, that are working these prevailing wage jobs where the government's saying, hey, we need to provide them $17 an hour of benefits, but you're already providing them $12 an hour. We're able to set up a fringe reduction factor inside our system by that $5 reduction, so we can save you money. You're not overpaying your employees. The 17 and the 12 on top of each other, we're able to have it automatically track and reduce that fringe to what we need it to be for those employees. The final option, or the final note that you're going to see on this slide here, is going to be our workers' compensation. This is something that we are able to set up your policy plan inside the system and can even track by the type of work performed for these guys on those jobs. So we'll see with some roofing companies where those guys' workers' compensation rates are going to be higher when they're up on the roof versus when they're performing work on the ground. So we're able to set up and track that workers' compensation plan based on the type of work these employees are performing, and can even set up caps if we only want a certain amount of their earnings exposed to the workers' compensation policy. So slide number 2 here, moving from the construction specific payroll into the construction specific reporting. So with us worldly working with construction clients, we know how big of a ticket item it is for you guys as a construction company to get full clarity of what you're actually going on with those jobs and reporting wise for the labor runs with our companies. So starting at the top here, going to be the first bullet point, our certified payroll. Like I had mentioned earlier, the system's going to generate these certified reports for you by default automatically based on what your payroll run was with us. You'll run payroll within the system. Then when it's time to generate those certified reports, it's all going to be done inside Payroll for Construction. So no third-party service coming into your database or pulling data from the database to generate those reports for you. Those are created by default within our system. The second one here, minority compliance EEO reporting. So any of those companies that are required for their minority compliance reporting, again, this would be generated by default inside the system based on what your payroll runs, where you guys are at with the company. So no jumping outside the system. These reports, and like the other ones that I mentioned here, are going to live and be created inside of our database by default, and you'll have a number of different options you'd be able to run those reports with in the system. Third ticket item here is going to be our job, labor, and burden cost reports. So we know that when in construction, we may be saying that we're paying our guys $14 an hour, but once all of our labor and burden costs are taken into account for that guy, he's really going to be costing us more towards $18.50, $20 an hour. We're going to have job, labor, and burden cost reports that will be generated for you within our system that gives you the full breakdown of what your labor costs are for these guys, with that burden included. So no performing calculations by yourself on the side. These reports are all generated for you within the system. Second one here going to be our workers' compensation reports. So once we set up that policy within the system, we're running payroll through Payroll for Construction. Our workers' compensation reports are going to be generated for us by default. We can then run these to see for all of our trades together. We can even drill down and see what it was required for employees based on certain trades, even drill down and see what we had exposed to our workers' compensation policy, what wasn't, even see where those caps were coming from, and provide you with that full report or what your workers' compensation numbers are looking like on a weekly basis, daily basis, monthly basis, however you need those reports to be ran. We're also going to be able to track those that have a 401k provider, a policy that they're working with for their guys at the company. So on the employee record, be able to set up what that 401k payment amount needs to be. Then as we're running payroll through the system, going to have a nice 401k report that is provided for you at the end of whenever we need to have that report ran, then we are able to take that report and get our numbers, our data of what we need to pay for that 401k plan for the week for our guys. Final bullet points you'll see here, those that are working in union companies, those that have unions they're working across, especially even multiple unions, our system is also going to be able to handle those for that reporting for you guys as well. So like I had mentioned with the prevailing wage jobs, we are able to set up rates and tables for the different unions that you'll be working across within your company. Those will all be tracked behind the scenes as we're running payroll. Then once it's time to make those payments to the unions based on the deductions, fringes, whatever we had to track for the guys for that week, it's all going to be summarized in a nice union report. And we can even custom format those union reports as well to those clients that need to see them in a certain format. The final option here is going to be the child support and other garnishments. So those that have garnishments like child support or alimony that they are currently handling at the company, we are able to also handle those on your behalf, and we're going to then provide you with full report breakdown of what we'd handle for the child support and other garnishments that you may be having at the company. Third slide here. So on top of all the construction specific items that we offer here, we're still going to be your traditional payroll service provider. So we're going to pay your employees via check or direct deposit. We're going to pay your taxes, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterlies, the annualies. We are pulling this money each week and filing those taxes on your behalf. So if there ever was an incorrect filing for the taxes for that week, month, or quarterly, annually, that's going to fall back on us, not going to fall back on you guys as a company, since we are filing those on your behalf. And when we are performing the filings for your company, each week we're giving you a full report breakdown of what went on with that payroll run, how much the amount was of the checks and direct deposits, and a nice clean breakdown of what we had tax-wise with that payroll run for that week. We're also going to provide the quarterly and the annual returns for the company. We're going to file those on your behalf, and we would be able to handle those for you guys when it comes time for those quarterly and annual returns, as well as the W-2s and other year-end services. So those that may be currently running payroll in-house, or you may be using a current provider like your ADP, like your Paychecks. We take clients live with Payroll4Construction on the 1st of any month. And within that, we are able to take your previous payroll history from that year, update it, what you have done payroll-wise in your system so far this year. So when it comes year end, you would only receive one W-2 from Payroll4Construction, and whether you want us to send those to the individual employee addresses or you want us to send those to the office for you to distribute, we can do so and handle those W-2s for you at year end. Fourth slide here. So what else makes us different? We have a direct integration with QuickBooks and other accounting programs. So we'll see a number of clients that, are a smaller construction company or up and coming, and they're starting on a QuickBooks database for their accounting. We have a direct integration where you're able to run payroll through Payroll4Construction. We are able to then take that data from that payroll run, push it back into your QuickBooks database by job, have it broken out into different general ledger accounts. So we can essentially trick QuickBooks or whatever accounting system you may be using at the company to, in essence, think that it ran the payroll, but you're running it through Payroll4Construction with us. But we know that you, as a construction company with that full accounting reports, the breakdown of your job costs, we still need to have those labor costs included. So we have an integration tool that we can push data back into your QuickBooks and other accounting programs you may be using. Second point here, our only focus is construction. So again, we are only working with construction clients. We have a team of tax experts that's going to keep up with the what's changing in the industry tax-wise, what's going on payroll-wise in all 50 states, construction-wise, where we are only focusing on construction. We're not dealing with other industries, other forms of business. So we're going to speak your language. We're going to be up to date with the changing regulations, whether it's a certified report changing format, or if it's different tax registrations, different tax requirements, our team's going to stay up to date. And again, we're only working in that, that construction industry. Fourth bullet point here, going to be our time card import feature. So this is where the great partnership between Exact Time and Payroll4Construction comes into play, because we are able to take that file, like Brian had mentioned earlier, with you guys running your time through exact time, pull that directly into your Payroll for Construction database. Once that time's pulled in, we're able to click OK and pull in those changing pay rates, whether we're working prevailing wage jobs, whether we have union work, or if it's just a commercial job that we need to pull in that commercial private rate for that employee. The system's going to help streamline this process using the import feature. Then the power of Payroll for Construction's going to automate the pay rates, all of the reporting behind the scenes for you guys. So going to streamline the process of getting time into the system to hopefully save you minutes to the hours on payroll runs each week when it comes to processing that payroll for the guys. Within this, we have the web-based access anytime from anywhere with an internet connection. So those that have a laptop, we'll install Payroll for Construction onto your computer, give you that login information, then anywhere we have an internet connection, going to be able to log in and access your payroll. Then we also do offer an online stub portal for your employees to receive their pay stubs electronically. So if those are on direct deposit with us, or and want to give those employees the power to view their own pay stubs, to see their own earnings and deductions reports, what time has been entered into the system for them, we do have a portal that they could log on online and see what had gone on payroll-wise with them. So the next slide. Here, one moment, I apologize. So how a payroll is processed with Payroll for Construction. Client's going to log in online. They're either going to manually enter, or for those using the exact time, we're going to import the time cards into our system. Then Payroll for Construction is going to allow you to review those time card entries and the payroll calculations. We'll have a number of registers that you'll be able to run to see what's going on tax-wise. If we had employees that weren't paid that week, what our employees are going to be paid via check or direct deposit to the penny. So you'll be able to see that snapshot of what your payroll looks like before you ever send it off to us for processing. Then once it's good to go, you're going to simply submit payroll with a click of a button. Our team's then going to take your payroll run. Within the hour, we're going to have your payroll processed. Then we are overnighting those checks, or preparing to send those direct deposits off to those employees that need to be paid those amounts for that payroll run that week. So in essence, we like to say, once you click that submit payroll with the click of a button, your employees are going to be paid for the week, your taxes will be handled for us. You essentially could walk away from your payroll run that week, but you'll have the ability to run any of those job costing reports, those certifieds, whatever reports you need to run inside your system at any time. All right, so what I will do here real quick is I'm going to share my screen and jump into the Payroll for Construction database to show everyone on the webinar here today how a payroll run is imported and submitted in Payroll for Construction. So what you are seeing here is the home dashboard of Payroll for Construction. Like I had mentioned earlier, we are pulled out of a full accounting system foundation software. So that's going to be the branding you are seeing once you're logging into the database. But within the payroll maintenance, again, we're able to set up your employee information, set up that workers' compensation policy plan, and then whatever we need pay rate wise for the prevailing wage jobs, those that have union work at the company, we are able to set up those pay rates, any deductions and fringes, and if we even need to do it and drill down for those employees that have their own specific needs for deductions and fringe wise, we can do so within the system. Once that payroll maintenance is completed, we're going to be able to get basic job information into the system. So we would need to bring just the job number, the description, and maybe tie in those prevailing wage tables and unions to those jobs for those that are going to be processing payroll with us inside Payroll for Construction. But what I will show you guys here today is the power of how we are able to combine exact time with their time tracking system and pull that into Payroll for Construction with the click of a button. So once we had exported that file from exact time from the week, we are going to go into our Payroll for Construction database and select enter time cards. What we will then have is a number of different time card formats for those clients that are going to be pulling time into the system, but your trainer with you would set up an exact time import time card template for those clients that are using exact time and Payroll for Construction. Then once we are into the enter time card screen here, you're going to see at the top, we have an import button that's going to allow us to pull the time from exact time into our database. So what a client would do, click the import button here, and it's going to then bring up what our import format is. This would be done one time during your training with your during your training sessions with your trainer. They're going to set up the format that we need to bring that file over into from exact time. We already have clients that are using exact time in Payroll for Construction, so be a simple setup with that trainer. What we then do is click Browse, going to go into our system and select what time card report we need to bring in from exact time for this week. Once we are done, then it's going to default in our time card with the hours that we need. We click Next, click Finish, system's going to let us know, hey, there were no errors with the import, we're good to go here, and our time from exact time is brought directly into the Payroll for Construction database, bringing over employee numbers if we're taking advantage of cost codes, what those guys are doing on the jobs with us, what job they're actually working on, how many hours they had, what date they were working, and if we had regular earnings, if we had any overtime, going to bring those into the system, as well as we can bring in those trades for those employees of what they're doing on the job for us, especially for those that have union work or prevailing wage work at the company. So we've now used the powerful mobile application time tracking system of exact time to track the hours. We've brought it into Payroll for Construction. Now it's time for us to automate the pay rates, what we need to pay these guys for the week. What I will do is go ahead and click OK, and you're going to see that the system is defaulting in the pay rates based on what we had set up behind the scenes for Payroll for Construction. So for my jobs here, my job 12, that's a commercial private job, didn't need to pull in any pay rates here, so it pulled in that commercial private rate for my guy, Rick here. But those that are working prevailing wage jobs, those that have union work, it's going to be able to look at that union and or prevailing wage table and pull in the pay rate for those guys from behind the scenes based on what they were doing. And what we are able to do is if we have guys working prevailing wage jobs or union work where they're working across multiple trades in a day, working across multiple jobs, the system's going to be able to track the different trades that these guys may be working on those jobs and would be able to pull in the differing pay rates no matter what they are actually doing on the job for us for this week. Once our hours look good to go, we are simply click OK, add them to the list for our hours for Payroll for Construction. Then we have a number of reports that allow us to run to see, hey, what went on payroll-wise this week. We have our time card list proofing report that allows our clients to see what they had brought over from exact time to make sure that there weren't any mistaken entries into that mobile application. But if you already are approving that time in exact time, it's going to pull over with the correct amount of hours into our system. Then we're going to have a number of registers that you would be free to run to see what's going on with the payroll run that week. So if you wanted to see earnings wise, the tax register, the main one I'll show you here is our pre-check register that we had brought in those hours from exact time. Then Payroll for Construction added the pay rates. Then we're going to be able to show you what those guys are getting paid down to the penny with everything included, regular hours, overtime wise, and those that have miscellaneous deductions or union deductions as well going into account, going to get that nice clean screenshot inside our system here. Then once payroll is ran, we're going to have those number of reports that are available for you as clients to run within your system at any point in time, and they are all included within the processing price of Payroll for Construction. So those that need to see their workers' compensation plans, those that need the EEO minority compliance, we offer electronic upload formats as well as print versions. We're then going to also offer electronic versions of those certifieds, or those that need the certified payroll prints. We are able to come into the system, say what date range we need these reports to be ran for. Then we have over 60 different print format versions for these certified reports. And I'll jump into one here real quick, our US Department of Labor report. Once I then run this report inside the system, going to generate the certified payroll report for me automatically based on that payroll run. So as I go through, I'm going to have it broken out by job, include all that information on the payroll runs for all of our certified jobs. And then we'll even include those signature sheets for us at the bottom. Very easy to pull reports outside of our system, PDF, Word, Excel, save them directly to your system and able to have these generated for you automatically, saving you time. Again, we'll have burden reports available for those that have union work at the company. We're going to give you the full breakdown of what went on union-wise, those working across multiple unions inside their company. We would be able to see those broken out, so we'd be able to set up those tables behind the scenes, and our union reports are going to have this broken out by trade and overall what's going on within those unions. So again, we're working with those construction clients, so we know that you have to have these union reports generated. These are going to be done based on those payroll runs in the system for you. All right, so what I will do here is I will go ahead and jump back into my slide deck here. And so the last slide I have here today is what our typical client for Payroll for Construction is. Our typical client is contractors of varying size and trades who simply want to efficiently process payroll, eliminate those confusing tax filings, and receive automated construction reporting. Our system's built for contractors with specific construction payroll needs, or those that are just looking for more detailed job costing. So an example of that may be contractors who work with, again, multiple unions. They're working in multiple states, multiple localities for our contractors working in Ohio or Kentucky. Those working government jobs, such as prevailing wage jobs, or those who simply need more detailed job costing. They want to see what's going on labor burden-wise on these jobs at the company, have these automated job costing reports generated for them in the system based on what their payroll runs were. All while Payroll for Construction's giving you that value provided where we're saving your office staff time with the efficient payroll processing. We're going to automate those job cost report creations. We're going to handle that certified payroll reporting, the union reports, automate the pay rates for jobs that are union, jobs that have prevailing wage, and we're going to handle those tax filings and payments, the weekly, the monthly, the quarterlies, and the annual payments for those that have them at the company. So with that very high level overview of Payroll for Construction here, I hold 30-minute demonstrations of our service here. So those that are looking to get a more tailored custom demo to them, see if Payroll for Construction is a fit for them. I hold as many demonstrations as someone would need. So on the next slide here, my contact information will be up. So feel free to reach out to me as well. But what I will do here is I will bring Brian May back into the chat here for us, and we'll give those that are attending the webinar here today some time to ask us some questions in the chat about exact time, about Payroll for Construction, what you may have for us on both products here.
Hey, great job, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
So we got a lot of questions. None of them are for me. So I'm going to direct them all to you, all right?
Wonderful.
Okay. So first question is based on integration. This person had asked, are you integrated with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central Cloud and Microsoft Dynamics SL on-prem? They're looking for the general ledger.
Yep. So with those clients that are using Microsoft Dynamics, those that are using the Business Central in the cloud, during our presentation, our demonstration with you, we would be able to look at your Microsoft Dynamics database and ensure that we can push data back and forth between the two systems. So we have a data integration specialist whose name is Rob Gibson here at Payroll for Construction. What we do with those clients that are using their own accounting software in-house, such as Microsoft Dynamics, we are going to be able to run a test to ensure that the data is going to integrate back and forth. So we would test and make sure that that integration is good to go before we ever had you sign on with our service.
Perfect. Thanks, Alex. Integrations are key right now. People are looking to connect disparate systems. So the next question is, are you able to integrate with Sage 100 Contractor? And I would say, again, this is a GL question for job costing, right?
Yep. And again, we have a number of clients that are using the Sage project, using the Microsoft Dynamics products as well. So again, during those demonstrations with Payroll for Construction, we would be able to get Rob Gibson involved and ensure that that integration is going to flow seamlessly from Payroll for Construction into your accounting database for those using Microsoft Dynamics, those using Sage 100 contractors. So we would test the integration, make sure that it works before we ever start passing data back and forth.
Very good. Thank you, Alex. All right, another question. Are you able to do weighted averages and no lunch penalty payment for California payroll?
Yep. So within our system, however, we need to have those averages or the lunch penalty payment for the California payroll. We'd be able to take you through our system, show how that's going to be set up, and what the process would be like of having that set up inside your database for Payroll for Construction. So we would again be able to give you a more detailed, in-depth breakdown of how we would handle that during one of our presentations if we were to do a live one-on-one demonstration.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Alex. All right, another question. Have you set up codes for California COVID sick pay?
Mm-hmm. Yep, so within our system, within that trainer that's going to be assigned to you guys for the setup of your Payroll for Construction database, we would be able to set up a number of codes that these clients would need for things like California COVID sick pay, for vacation time, for paid time off, for overtime, for double time. We are able to set up as many codes as we need, and we can give them that custom language of what a client would need to see that code to be named. So for Melanie's question here, where she needs that California COVID sick pay, we would be able to set up a code with that exact description and have it act what we needed to do for the California COVID sick pay.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so you can run an off-cycle check run or correction, correct?
Yep, correct. So within our system, for those that have the time they need to run that one-time layoffs check cycle, they would have a separate pay cycle within payroll4construction.com. They would be able to go in and at any time enter what they need for that cycle term check, or if we're doing a correction as well for previous pay for an employee, we're able to update that in one spot in the system. So whether we're updating an employee's check information, that will be done in one spot, going to then be pushed out and update all of those other job costing reports. Those that need to run an off-cycle layoff check for an employee, you would still have the ability to cut a check out of the system same day. We would run that through an off-cycle payroll run, allowing you to then pay that employee at that point in time in the office. Then once we pick up your payroll on the next payroll run, we're going to update the tax information, anything in the system that went on with that off-cycle check.
All right. Now, there was a follow-up question, and is there a charge for the off-cycle run?
Nope, so that would just be included within that standard payroll processing fee. And during our demonstration, the one-on-one demonstration, we'd be able to provide you a full quote of what's going on with that payroll run, and that off-cycle check would just be included in that payroll processing fee for the week, no additional charge.
Okay. How are we doing on time? I think we're okay, right? The questions keep coming in.
Yeah, I see we have a number of them rolling in still.
Yeah. So the next one is from Patty, and she wants to know how many days before payday does payroll need to be submitted?
Yep. So like I see also that Patty had said that, for example, her employees are receiving those deposits on Fridays. So whenever is payday for those employees, we want payrolls entered and submitted into Payroll for Construction by 2:30 Eastern time prior. So we want payroll entered 2 days prior for those on the East Coast by 2:30 Eastern time, those in Central an hour earlier, and so forth. But it's going to be 2 days prior, so we would want it entered by Wednesday 2:30 Eastern time. Then Wednesday night, we are overnighting those checks from our office to your office for distribution. That next day on Thursday, we're going to hit the bank account for that payroll run, what we need to pay those employees check or direct deposit. That tax information, tax payment wise, then on Friday, you would be able to distribute those checks. And if those getting the direct deposit payments would be able to have those hit the accounts on Friday.
Okay, great. And so Patty has another question. Also, how does Payroll for Construction handle unscheduled payrolls? So, and I think we already covered that, a termination check. Want to go through that just quickly again?
Yeah, no problem. So to answer Patty's question again, those that have the off-cycle, the unscheduled payroll, like a termination check, you would still have that off-cycle option available for you inside Payroll for Construction that allows you to go into that off-cycle, complete what you need for that termination check and allow you to cut it same day out of the system. Whether you need it to be a printed check or a direct deposit, still give you that option to have that termination check. Then once we handle the next payroll run within the company, we're going to pick up all the tax information, the payment information for that off-cycle check.
All right, awesome. Lovell had asked if you can handle payroll outside the US. Specifically, they do work in the Bahamas.
So with those, that is something that as long as it's US currency, we are able to help with that payroll run. So we'd be able to talk with Lovell at their company to see what exactly they are doing work-wise in the Bahamas. And if it is US currency, we have done work with those clients outside of the States.
All right. Melanie asks, what happens if you're late submitting payroll?
Yeah, so we know that at a construction company in the office, things can get busy. So when we have those instances that, hey, payroll's going to be late this week. Hey, we submitted it on Thursday instead of Friday. We don't want this to be an everyday occurrence, but those times that we have issues submitting payroll to us on time, our team would be able to work with you to ensure those guys are still going to be paid on time when that week that the payroll is running late. So those instances do occur. Our team would be available to assist and help with those times that payrolls are running late.
With some conditions. We don't want to make it a habitual,
Yep.
So that makes sense.
Yep.
Christine asked, are you able to do a payroll run and separate bonus run in the same week?
Yep. So if we needed to have employees getting distributed multiple checks in that week, we are able to separate those totals out and even pay employees on separate runs if we needed to.
Awesome. Thank you. Do you have the ability for us to print our live paychecks rather than the overnighted checks? Weather issues have proven to make that unreliable.
Yep, understandable. Sometimes the mail does get backed up. So those clients that want to go the route of, hey, we want to print our own checks in-house, you do have that option to do that with our service if they wanted to go that route.
Alex, that was great. What a good session. And you had a real engaged audience. So this is awesome. One more question, and then we'll cut it off here, okay? So can you assist if there is an error when doing a certified payroll?
Yep. So again, Payroll for Construction, with our service, you're going to have that unlimited support with our team that's going to specialize in the construction industry. So if you're having issues when you're uploading certified payroll, trying to run that certified payroll inside the system, our team would be available to help for those clients. And I'm not sure if I had mentioned this earlier, but our Payroll for Construction support team is our team in-house, our employees that are trained on our system. They are available to clients for support Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, and they have unlimited support included within the processing fees for Payroll for Construction.
Great job, Alex. Thank you again.
I think we got one more question here, Brian.
Customers. Oh, yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, Christine asked one more question. Do we file local taxes as well? So yes, we do file local taxes as well. So especially for those contractors working in states like Ohio and Kentucky, we do file local taxes as well.
Perfect. So if you did ask a question and it didn't get answered, Alex and team will reach out to answer those offline. I want to thank our customers, our exact time customers for joining us. Please reach out to your account manager if you'd like an introduction to Payroll for Construction or contact Alex directly. Alex, great working with you as always. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brian. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining us. And I want to thank everyone that joined the call here today for taking the time out of their busy schedules to log on today. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the presentation. One more time. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.